Joining me in the studio is Eminent Associate Professor Dr. Arul Selvan from the IGNOU, Indira Gandhi Open University, Delhi, who has specialized in this subject. And now, before we get on to the subject with the expert, we have Mr. Amit Kumar, also the Associate Professor of IGNOU, who will be talking about the importance of new media, who is on the phone line, who will be talking about the importance of new media. Please stay tuned.
Hello.
Hello, Doctor. Hello, sir. Can you tell us what is the importance of new media in this 21st century?
Okay, new media, as name suggests, it's a new way of communication, new tools of communication. That is roughly, you can say, internet-based or networking-based communication tool. And you can use computer and mobile for this purpose.
Okay.
And in this era, new media, you can just understand that the whole media is at your doorstep, in your pocket, in your laptop, in your palm top. You can connect yourself with anybody from anywhere. So it's the biggest strength of the new media.
Okay.
And it's now it's a requirement of this time, because you can't imagine your life without new media in this era. Our business, our ticketing, our news, we can share information through new media. So everything, we can't imagine our life without new media in this present era.
Okay. So you believe that this new media is the one that has changed the entire world in this 21st century.
Exactly, in every area, education, information, business, governance, everything.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Professor, for that
Okay, thank you.
output. Well, the new media is the new phenomenon that has engulfed media world in this 21st century. It's creating turbulence. It is, shaking the pillars of governance. On the other hand, it is informative, enriching, and quite effective. So, Dr. Selvan, welcome to the show. Could you tell us what this new media is all about, Doctor?
New media is a relative term. It's not very time-bound term definition. We can't say that.
Yes.
When we are in the 21st century, we used to relate the new media concept to computers, digital media, online, anything about a digital communication thing. But if you look at the whole history of communication, whenever the new element of medium is introduced, and then we call it as a new media. The 1980s, we used to call the video tape recorder as a new media. If you go a little early, then television was a new media. Then before that, radio. Then before that, film. So new media is a relatively new, the relative term. It's not a very fixed term thing. So that is a one broad underline we have to make it clear now. In a new media, if you look at the whole concept of new media, is it comparatively a lot of difference between the existing communication media meant for the society. For example, newspaper, film, broadcasting media. These are very broad level and caters to the mass. Okay, and there is a source in the particular production center, and they produce some content, and they'll distribute to the mass.
Is it so much about this content that is called as new media, or the gadgets, the new technological gadgets such as tablets, phones, mobile phones, and all this are called as new media? What is exactly called as new media, Doctor?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
Combination, because whenever we say the new media, it relates to the channel that carries the message. And also, whenever we are going with a new technology for communication, we used to tailor the content according to the medium. So we have to say both are content, but the content also, of course, there is no new content. Always there is a new innovation, creativity comes there. But before that, I would like to share some points on new media, the basic concepts. I want to give it to I want to share with the students on certain things. if you go back to the earlier concept of communication, particularly related to the digital media, there are two important components. I would like to show the PowerPoint. There are two components. That's one is satellite, another one is computer energy, computer capacity. If we combine these two together, the speed of the transmission is tremendous.
Okay.
And the newspaper takes 24 hours to reach this particular audience, and television, radio takes time for production, post-production, and goes.
Yes.
And when you are in online, and if you are combining with the satellite, so it takes a fraction of a second to cover the entire globe. Okay. And the digital media, the informations are in bytes, bits and pieces, like a 0 and 1 binary numbers. So there is a less scope of transmission loss. Okay. And it has more tremendous point to reach the corner, the mile, the reaching end of that thing. Okay. And another important aspect of new media, right, compared to earlier newspaper can carry only the text and photograph.
Right.
Radio can carry only audio.
Okay.
And television can carry the audio and video and animation part.
Right.
If you take the digital media, whether it's online or is it a CD or DVD or it's an independent platform, it has a capacity to carry everything together.
Okay.
Text and everything. And addition to that, interactive.
Right.
So it's not somebody is giving information to you. You have a capacity to extract the information. Okay, you can go to a particular article, you can play the video, you can play the audio, you can play the animation. So you can interact with the content, extract the content. There is a scope of the audience to participate.
So there is more of interactivity.
More interactivity. Media. That is one of the speciality of new media, which is relatively less in other mass media.
Okay.
I'm not saying nil, but relatively less, because it takes time for you to communicate to the newspaper office or radio station or TV station to air your expression, and that is being filtered by some editorial staff. Then if it is suitable to their policy, then they'll put it in their communication pattern.
Okay.
But whereas in a new media level, and you are the user, you are the producer.
Okay.
You are you can take both the role.
So individual freedom is given in this new media.
Individual freedom is there, and at the same time, and you have to understand that this is a medium is less regulated.
Okay.
Because technology is developing tremendously.
Okay.
Every third month, every sixth month, we are coming with a different notions of interactivity, and equally law and legal and other enforcement agencies has to catch up with that. Okay. And moreover, unlike the traditional mass media, which operates within a particular location, and automatically the law of the land controls the operation.
Right.
Okay, either license or uplinking or satellite permission.
Right.
That through which we can regulate their operation.
Okay.
But whereas the new media concerned, it's not confined to a particular geographical location.
Okay.
I may be in India, but I can operate a website from somewhere other country, third country.
Right.
So if that is another issue that enforcement agencies are confronting.
But before we go on to that regulation and all that, could you just brief us what characterizes the new media? Okay,
I'll continue with the point. And so that is after invent of this digital media, we no longer need a Walkman to listen radio. We don't want a separate video player to watch our favorite movie. We don't need a separate gadget to saw our CD, DVDs and television set for that thing. But with that new media, we don't need a different set of gadgets. Everything in one together. Okay, that is the one advantage thing. And other than that, digital communication facilitates not only as individual communication as well as a group communication. For example, it gives a tremendous support to the DTH cable, and you must be aware that now in India there are 4 metros now going for digitization process for cable network. That means through the cable means not necessarily to go for flat rate for all the channels.
Okay.
I don't need to listen or watch certain channel which is I'm not interested, it's not familiar to me. So I can pick up certain channels as per my choice. So accordingly, I can pay my money.
Yeah.
That the facility is providing through digital platform. Right.
Okay.
And the storage device is also increasing there.
Right.
Okay, not necessarily to store in a library, microfilm, like that. You can put all the entire 1 year newspapers content in one CD or one DVD or in your pen drives, or put it in a database which can be accessible to your institution.
So there is a compatibility,
comfortability, and searching the material with ease thing. So that is another important point I would like to share that. And also, I told you earlier, we are not just a user, we are also producer.
Right.
Okay, so media making is not at all a profession of professionals.
Right.
Okay, we don't need to be a professional to make a movie. And with the advent of many cloud computing, with the help of sites like a YouTube, Flickr, and social networking sites.
Okay.
Now, if you look at that per minute, YouTube is being uploaded with thousands of movies.
Okay.
Okay, and it's and you get a live part also.
And that's also ending up into the controversies.
There are controversy. That is it has because of technology you have a benefit.
Yes.
At the same time, it has some negative aspect also.
Right.
Okay, so another important point I would like to say that and there is the medium is for society, but a newspaper, you can't write a private letter for your family through newspaper,
Right.
or through radio or television thing.
Mhm.
But whereas in an online media, you can run a newspaper,
Yeah.
you can run a TV station, you can run a radio station, you can run your own online portal. At the same time, you can have a communication with your family members, you can have a communication with your students,
Okay.
a private communication.
Yes.
Okay, you can have a clear-cut demarcation in terms of your professional communication and a personal communication. It's possible in new media,
Okay.
which is not possible in other mass media.
media.
That is one of the
Okay.
very
Characteristics.
other than the interactivity that we discussed
Okay.
earlier then. Okay, and there is another aspect of new media is quasi media.
Okay.
Quasi media means and it's a kind of reality, but it's not real.
Right.
Okay, kind of virtual reality. Okay, for example, certain scenarios we may not be able to have an actual footage.
Okay.
Okay, and sometime it may not be possible to explain certain things through actual element.
Mm-hmm.
Right. For example, tsunami, and we may have good footage of video archives,
Mm-hmm.
but archives shows that the tsunami reaches a seashore.
Okay.
But where the tsunami starts, how it starts, the process of starting tsunami,
Okay.
that we may not have a real video.
Okay.
So that part, virtual reality, is a better option there
Mm-hmm.
to create the scenario through which we can do that thing. Another important point is there is a concept called second life.
Okay.
Second life is we are living in a normal life,
Okay.
okay, but we can take a different life altogether in an online platform.
Okay.
We can have a village, we can have a house.
You
We
mean
can
to
have-
say that
we
we
can
can
different
record and
characters.
put them there?
We don't need to record it,
Uh-huh.
but instead of animated characters,
Okay.
it's a second life,
Mm-hmm.
and we can live all together.
Okay.
Totally different life. That's called second life.
Okay.
Okay. We can have entire online society. We can form it.
Mm-hmm.
I can have a different Delhi altogether
Mm-hmm.
without a concrete jungle.
Right.
I can have very few houses in Delhi.
Right.
Okay, that kind of thing, I can do it.
Right.
Of course,
So
right. That one advantage with that computer virtual reality.
Right.
Okay, second life thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, this second life and all this, only through the animation it can take place. You mean to say that, right?
Virtual life, yeah. As of now, the technology support has to go with a kind of animated life, where we can take our second life, to the virtual reality basically.
It was very.
But it's a real.
Okay.
It's a real, and but the second life is not only virtual reality. There are many things, many applications are there. Many applications are there.
It was very interesting to know that. I mean, especially when you said about this tsunami, when the tsunami occurred, that we can't record. I mean, on the spot we can't present to the audience, viewers. But whereas with these new technological gadgets, if the person were to be there at the seashore where this tsunami has began, so the person can record on the spot and put it on the YouTube, uplink onto the YouTube, I believe, through this.
Of course, you can do it, and immediately you can share your personal experience. But at the most, what you can do that you are there in the seashore, and the tsunami is coming towards you. That's what you can explain to the. That's what you can explain to the your audience. But of course, you can't show the pictures on the spot.
But at the same time, one person being present at that location can capture and just uplink it on the spot and go through the masses through this medium, this new media. What do you say, Doctor?
Of course, that is true. That's a advantage with the media to reach the mass, not necessarily going through the editorial process of a particular channel or station to air their particular experiences. But that's a speciality with the new media.
We are talking about this new media and all these things. So, can you just tell us its relevance in this present, in this current era? In this, especially in this educational world? Education,
it's an ongoing process, and technology always helps us to facilitate education to the wider audience. And if you look at the prominent universities across the country, there is a shift in their delivery of educational content. They usually, if you take the top-rated university, they usually till last century, till early part of this current century, they is confined within the classrooms. They have students around the teachers. They have interactivity and interaction, face-to-face meeting, discussion, lectures, everything. But now they felt that with limited resources, and there is a huge demand of educational access. So the universities are thinking that why can't we extend our classroom? The faculty are not traveling anymore, but their lecture can travel. So that way they started using the online facilities to take their lectures to the different kinds of classroom settings. A very good teacher on mechanical engineering, but difficult to travel each and every college's university to lecture thousands and lakhs of students. Whereas he is sitting in one particular university lectures, which is being uploaded to their own website or in a database, either live or recorded. That is very facilitating content for everybody across the globe who are interested in a particular topic to access that. And also, the particular faculty is willing to participate. The other students can chat or send a mail, or they can have a different kind of interaction to facilitate his knowledge to the wider audience. So that is one opportunity for the developed countries. Whereas the country like India, if you take education, our enrollment ratio is not matching with the world record. And at the same time, you have to realize that technologically the internet is not penetrated each and every corner of the society. And hardly we have 100 million numbers. Recently we crossed 100 million. But whereas our total population is huge, roughly you can say
1.3 billion.
Roughly you can say 10 to 12% we have reached the net connection. Whereas what about the others thing? So that is one drawback for us to take the online education to every part of the society. But if you look at the current innovation and evolution of computers, and the government of India and other private companies started releasing low-cost tablets.
That's true.
And it takes very less power, and it has a wireless facility to access the internet, and it is not necessary to type in English or something. It's purely interactive in a tapping mode. So students can access many educational content. This is an opportunity for many universities in India to reach the wider audience. either school or in college or university level. This is catching up now.
Okay. So an eminent professor who is so expert in the subject, I mean, maybe a common person may not be reaching these IITs or IIMs and all that, but at the same time, if the faculty over there were to be interested in teaching using this new media, can reach to the masses, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Through suppose there are very good facilities. For example, in IGNOU, we have very good resources.
Right.
This lectures now, what we are doing right now, is available online.
Right.
This is through web stream.
Right.
This lecture can be accessed from any part of the world.
Okay.
And again, through the software facilities on online infrastructure, I can take my lecture from my cabin.
Okay.
So that can be accessed from any part of the our universities or colleges anyway, and also it's interactive, live.
Okay.
So I can have a PowerPoint, I can have a Blackboard, I can share my video, I can share my audio resources to facilitate my subject being taught in a different way to the audience, which is bit troublesome on normal classroom settings.
Okay.
I need a projector, I need a video recorder and audio recorder to have everything, and but I have every 15 or 20 students. Okay. Whereas through online, I can reach the mass.
Right.
That is one advantage with online education.
And it's also at the leisure of the student. They can, access to this particular lecture,
Of course.
Sure.
See, I'm doing my lecture around 11 o'clock and there are about 750 students I enrolled for my program.
Right.
All the 750 students are not necessarily available for my lecture.
Right.
So maybe 10-20% may be available. They may participate in my live lecture, but I can record all my lecture interaction with my students and put it in a edited version in online. Okay. So those who are available, those who are not available that time, they can access my lecture at a different time. They can send a mail to me later, so I can interact with them. It's a kind of delayed teaching.
Okay. That's one of the positive points that you were talking about. But on the other hand, Doctor, that India is known for the Gurukula system, where the student and teacher sit together, and teachers and the personal touch would be there in that Gurukula system. But whereas in this new media seem to be taking off that personal touch. What do you say on that?
Personal touch, is it available or not, is a very subjective term. And what you said is correct, the Gurukula setup. And the teaching in Indian context is not just learning a subject. At the same time, you have to learn the life, you have to understand the society, you have to understand the history and all the aspects of our institution. And everything depends upon the faculty, how influential you are.
Okay.
If you are able to influence people through any mode of communication, certainly you can do it through in whatever method you have applied for that. And not necessarily the people around me, but through my method, it's up to the faculty to adopt.
Right.
They need to adopt according to their medium. So through that, you have to identify the right people and the right time. If you deliver the message, there is a positive response to that.
Okay.
So I'm a positive thinking in terms of using the technology for motivating the students for the particular direction.
Okay.
There is no limitation on that.
Okay. How these institutions are utilizing this new media and reaching the underprivileged in the country and developing nations. So, when you are regularizing or regulating this media content and all that, don't you think that, don't you think that it will be a few people who would be regulating the entire content? They will be dominating the entire system of this new media, Doctor?
Not few people, but we can say the few organizations, corporate groups. For
so the rich people can, manipulate and exploit.
Not the rich people. Those who have a command over the infrastructure.
Okay.
They can do it. That's the trend is going on. Mm-hmm. But it is up to the community, the users, and the participants, how they are going to cooperate with that, and how they're going to be involved with that.
Okay.
That matters thing. But this has to be some institution. Somebody has to take effort to not the few institutions are few corporations
Okay.
taking over the entire resources and controlling the major components of the medium. But I would like to go back to the point which we were discussing before this question. You asked about this, how the other institutions are helping the society.
Right.
We were discussing about the education. The two more aspects I would like to highlight in this point of time.
Okay.
One is health, one is governance.
Right.
And public facility we may not able to provide through water, but we can facilitate.
Right.
Water, food we can't provide through online.
Right.
But at the same time, health part is very important. The doctors scarcity is alarming. We know about that.
Right.
But there are government hospitals with adequate digital platform. The preliminary consultancy
Right.
by the doctor can be extended to the needy people through the telemedicine.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm sitting in Bangalore, but somebody is from the remote corner of the Gulbarga asking some very genuine immediate help from the doctor.
Okay.
Okay. The preliminary, not very advanced, preliminary.
Okay.
That is a needy.
Okay.
That is a very crucial to prevent because the prevention is very crucial in the health part.
Okay.
The technology can play a major role.
Okay.
And the second part of governance, what I mentioned that thing. And basic governance facilities,
Right.
services. Okay, we don't need to run around the tables and offices to get the certificates. That can be easily accessed through online.
That's true.
Okay, so that is that like that. There are many things are easily can be accessed to the services through online media.
But it seems to be a big question. I mean, how many people are well acquainted with this new media, Doctor? Because very few in any organization at the moment we can find. We have got a good facilities, good infrastructure, new media and all that, computer. But how many people in the organization can utilize this one to the optimum best and reach to the masses?
Of course, I told you earlier that we have 100 million users only. That is a very negligible Indian population.
Right.
And it's not good to expect that everybody having access to the online through their own resources.
Okay.
But I would like to point the thing. There is a role of intermediate institutions.
Right.
Okay. And either through the government setup thing like a CIC, Community Information Center,
Okay.
or through private organization through corporate social responsibility, they can facilitate the access points.
Okay.
A kind of collective facility,
Right.
like a community radio, community television set in the panchayat office.
Okay.
Like that, there are few computer sets in the village, and the entire village can access to that.
Okay.
So in that way, with the 2-3 computers, around 3,000, 5,000 people can access the facilities. Okay, and maybe 2-3 unemployed youths can help the system to function within their network. Okay, not only the particular village, maybe nearby village also can do that.
That's true.
So that is one approach. Immediately we can go for that. Community informatics. That's what they're saying. Sharing the resources collectively. They are the individual computers.
Okay.
That will take time to dream that every home will have a computer. But initially we have to go for that. At least a few computers for a village.
Okay.
That will help the village to get the access that.
Okay.
So that will at least it will solve that our immediate requirements to
But-
nominal fee.
Right. But I mean, this new media sounds like it is an elite media. But is it the elite media? Is it only the top class people can utilize this new media, or is it the mass media, grassroots media, the poor people also can utilize this new media? What do you say on this, Doctor?
When television was introduced, the more or less same situation has happened.
Right.
Very expensive. The television set was expensive, and color set is quite very high.
True.
And initially it was within the urban settings, but now see that after 30-40 years,
Right.
now see the reach of television.
Right.
We have millions and millions of television homes, and in black and white, color and everything. Okay,
true.
whether it's going to be a light medium or it's going to be mass medium depends upon how the technology is going, how it's economical, and that is one. Secondly, how our social institution going to incorporate this technology, adopting. We have to adopt. Then only they can see the usage in that thing. Okay. Other than my health and some government services facility I want to get it from computer. If I don't think I have another usage, then it's meaningless for me.
Okay.
So we have to adopt according to our thing. how to use the medium technology for the day-to-day life. That is a very crucial part. The elite or mass depends upon the time and the technology and affordability. Over the period, I hope this will become a mass.
Okay.
And
so at the moment, it seemed to be only for a particular group of people this new media accessible. You mean?
Of course, this is technology. Always is a kind of strange concept when we are going for that illiterate people. Okay, one is different concepts, different phenomena, and you need a literacy background, either language or technological literacy.
Right.
So both are required to access the computer, the digital medium, in a full potential. Okay. So that literacy part. Now, I think we are happy that many schools and having computer classes from the early stage.
Right.
So that is the one advantage, that and the future generation is now at least affordable, accessible, and ready to go for that.
Okay. And what are these different methods of accessibility to new media and the issues associated with with this, Doctor?
Access, that is a big concept, and briefly I can say that whether we can access through institutional setup, like university, they'll provide the internet to their own students and members, or you can have your own net connection through the private ISPs, through some nominal subscription amount that you can do it, or you can have a cyber cafes, pay the money. You don't need a computer, you don't need any other facilities for the electricity. They'll provide, but you have to pay the money. So this is the how we either personal access or work official access point of view, or if you don't have resources, we can pay the money, a common facility we can be used for the pay and use that thing. But in detail, maybe we can take up this issue in a coming program about that internet access that requires more time. But I can briefly, this is what I can summarize, that 3, either personal capacity or institutional capacity, or else pay and use method. We can have 3 access as of now, we can say in a very nutshell.
Okay. And as you have rightly pointed out that out of this 1.2 billion people, only 100 million people can utilize this media, this new media.
No, 100 million people are right now accessing
this new media. Right.
It's not restricted, but our penetration rate is this much only.
So I mean so there is a plenty of scope for educating the masses in this new media. So there seems to be a lot of employment, waiting, one getting educated in this new media. What do you say, the employability on learning this new media and its techniques, Doctor?
Employability as such, because the different segment of society, different segment of corporate houses are there, but the critical mass we yet to reach in this medium. Until otherwise we reach the critical mass, we may not be able to have a very good employability opportunity. That will take time for us to reach a point, but there is a scope for that.
What is the dangers of new media or negative impact of new media on the society? As a result, governments are pressing for regulations, as you have already discussed about. Could you tell us what they are and what would be their implications on future media, in brief, as we are running
because
out of time?
The internet governance, that is a very crucial part. I told you earlier that based on the question we received from outside, and regulating is not a geographical boundary based institution. The medium is not particular country based or not a particular continent based. It's a global medium, and the intergovernmental efforts needs to be strengthened accordingly. Only then we can regulate the material. But the institutions are working on that, and including India, we are very particular about regulating the country. We have seen many incidents in the very recent past, including this Assam exodus, as well as the current controversy about this film,
Islamic film.
And this is a very problematic area for the governments to control it. That only that coming time will have the point.
Thank you, Doctor, for enlightening us, and it is quite informative and enriching us all. And thank you for joining us, Doctor.